Hi, and welcome to my official predictions for UFC Fight Night. This is happening in UFC Apex this Saturday or Sunday for us Indians. This fight is between Thiago Santos versus Mohamed Ankalaev. Mohamed Ankalaev is a prospect. He is on a 7-fight win streak. He is from Dagestan, Russia. As you know, I've talked about all these Dagestani who have an insane skill set. They are great in the wrestling. They are Sambo champions. They are also fit. And Mohamed Ankalaev is the person who is he's the flag bearer of striking for the Dagestanis. The way he strikes, the way he punches, especially his left hooks on the back foot and especially his left high kicks are just sublime. The way it lands and it knocks people out, you can see the amount of power he can generate with not a lot of movement in his hands, and you can see that there is almost a wind up into his punches, so it's very difficult to actually judge as to what he's going to do. Talking about Thiago Santos was a huge prospect. He is a black belt in Muay Thai, a black belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. Also, he has background in Capoeira, so he's a very well-rounded fighter himself. He has a lot of power. He looks like a Greek god. He has a Thor hammer tattooed on his chest, which looks beautiful. That being said, the fight which he had against John Jones, which led to him having a very bad knee injury. He tore a lot of ligament in his knees. People are saying that it has affected his movement a lot. Yes, it's been seen that he doesn't move as effectively as he did before. Also, since the movement is affected, the amount of power he is able to generate is also being restricted a little bit. So yes, going against somebody like Mohamed Ankalaev, the power that person has, I don't think it will end very well for Thiago Santos. What is the fight style which you can expect Thiago Santos to put up? Thiago Santos is a berserker, as you very well know, but he'll be little calculated. He will try not to push too much within the first 2 or 3 rounds. He'll try to judge the distance. He'll try to keep the distance, and he'll possibly take a couple of punches here and there. But what his strategy would be is to keep calm, to maintain his cardio. Also, not to strike too much on the feet. If it turns into a kickboxing match, I don't think Thiago Santos has that much of an advantage. But yes, if it goes into a part where he's reducing one of the advantage of Mohamed Ankalaev, especially the kicking advantage of it, he might have a chance to have a comparable sort of an equation against somebody like Mohamed Ankalaev. So how can he do that? He probably would try to push Mohamed Ankalaev to the cage or probably cut corners, not give that much of an area for Mohamed Ankalaev to work with. That it's very difficult because Mohamed Ankalaev's striking is just supreme, as I told you before, and I don't think it will end very well for Thiago Santos. Whatever he has to give, I don't think it will be very nice, especially because when you see Thiago Santos is losing a couple of rounds, he usually goes berserk and he tries to throws punches haphazardly, and if it connects, yes, it has led to epic knockouts, but if it doesn't, against somebody like Mohamed Ankalaev, who is very smart into his movement and his counter strikes are really nice, so it might not end very well for him. Also, Mohamed Ankalaev also has a set disadvantage as to if he does see an opponent wobble or if he thinks that he has a major advantage against an opponent, he usually goes in rushing for a finish. He has to be careful. If he does do that against somebody like Thiago Santos, who also has quite a nice chin, he might just get bludgeoned with a left hook, which might come at any time, especially on the back foot, quite strong. So all that being said, I'm going heavily in favor of Mohamed Ankalaev to win this via maybe a second or third round KO or maybe a submission attempt, which I think might happen because if Thiago Santos is on the ground, he might try doing a submission because of his BJJ background. It might not end very well for him, so it might be a TKO or a KO victory in the second or third round for Mohamed Ankalaev. Now let's jump into the next fight which I want to talk about. It's between Marlon Moraes versus Song Yadong. Marlon Moraes was once upon a time like a title contender. He fought and won against people like Jose Aldo and Aljamain Sterling. I mean, his striking, when I talk about beating these two people, you know that how much of a striking skill set that person has. His cardio is not very nice. That has been seen quite recently. Also, since these youngsters have come up with insane tactics how to manage, especially with these different kinds of leg kicks and calf kicks and body shots. I don't think Marlon Moraes has caught up with that. That has led to a couple of his losses. Yes, he's not a very bad striker. He's not a very bad grappler, but then he can't really keep up with people if they have shown that to have a decent chin. Song Yadong, yes, he has a great skill set. He's a very well-rounded fighter. I don't think Song Yadong has a greater advantage against somebody like Marlon Moraes when it comes to the striking aspect of it. But yes, if he can push and if he can keep a good cardio, if he doesn't stand within the box and he doesn't try to strike very hard with somebody like Marlon Moraes, I don't think it will be a great challenge for Song Yadong. So I'm going with Song Yadong. maybe by end of the first round or maybe the second round, it's going to be a TKO victory for Song Yadong. A lot of second round victories in my prediction. The third fight which I want to talk about is between Dober and Terrance Mackinney. Dober is a vet. Like, a lot of people know him, a lot of people have gone through him. Everybody has to step through Dober. Like, he is a guy, he's a gatekeeper guy. He's a very well-rounded fighter. His skill set is very, very unique when it comes to say. It's just that he's very quite unlucky when he fights people or slightly better than him in certain aspects of the game, and they try to take advantage of him in those aspects, and usually he loses because of that. He puts up a great fight. I mean, to look at him, the way he fights, he's a very calculated fighter, yes, but he does have a big heart, and he reminds me of somebody like Michael Chandler, the way Michael Chandler fights. He has a great heart, very nice person. Talking about Terrance Mackinney is a great prospect. He has 7-second knockout highlight, which is epic. You should see it. I will put it here as well. That said, Terrance Mackinney's fight style might not be the best suited for somebody like Dober. Dober has a lot of experience behind him. He carries a lot of experience. He has fought a lot of people with a variety of different weapons. So Terrance Mackinney has to be very thoughtful as to how he approaches this fight. I don't think it's going to be an easy fight for Terrance Mackinney, but yeah, he has a lot on his plate, because he has to prove himself. He has to show that he is a prospect for a reason, and if he does end up getting a highlight once again, yes, it will push him to the stardom. He'll be somebody people will be talking about. He'll be in the hype train going like boom, but it is going to be very, very difficult. It will be interesting to see how Terrance Mackinney approaches this fight. I feel that he should not be chasing for a finish very soon, because against Dober has an insane cardio, which it will not be good for him. It will definitely not be good for him to fight a stupid fight. Yes, he can chase for a highlight or a finish in the second or third round, but not in the first round against somebody like Dober. That said, I think Dober is going to get a unanimous decision victory in this fight. And the fourth and last fight I'm going to talk about is between Alex Pereira against Bruno Silva. These two fighters are very, very unique as to like how they approach the fight. I feel both of them carry a lot of experience and a lot of power behind their striking. Alex Pereira has a great background in kickboxing. He has tons and tons of victories, and also against Israel Adesanya in kickboxing. Whereas Bruno Silva is on a 3-fight win streak. His hands are heavy. He's a new guy in the UFC, and he's shown that he's very, very capable, and he has a lot of power in his hands. His left hooks are insane. His striking and his movement is also very, very nice when you look at it. Also, when it comes to fighting within a pocket, like I don't think Alex Pereira will fall for that. He will not indulge with Bruno Silva in the pocket. He will not go hand to hand. He will not be fighting like Tony Ferguson and Justin Gaethje, like being in the pocket and exchanging punches like crazy people. That's where Bruno Silva has the advantage. Bruno Silva has the advantage if he closes the range. Alex Pereira has a great range advantage. Alex Pereira will definitely go to your legs. He will kick your thighs. He'll kick your calves. If he succeeds in that, you are gone. Also, if you try to grapple with him, you have to be very careful, because he has shown his progress. He's shown a lot of improvement in the grappling aspect, and he's being trained by somebody like Robert Teixeira. How he'll approach the fight, he will try to shorten the gap. He'll try to reduce the range, either by cutting Alex Pereira's movement or trying to get to the center of the ring as soon as possible, and then keep pushing and being aggressive against Alex Pereira. That being said, if he's too aggressive, he's very haphazard in the way he approaches the fight, Alex Pereira might just outstrike him and throw a counter and then just drop him. But if Alex just gets pushed to the cage, one of the major advantages which he has, that is his legs will be cut. So he might have an equal or better opportunity to strike with Alex Pereira against the cage. He might throw a lot of punches. The volume will be so much higher. He'll throw a lot of body punches and hooks to the face. So yes, the advantage is very clear as to what Alex Pereira has to offer, but I don't think it's a great advantage. I think Alex Pereira will definitely secure a victory. It's not going to be an insane KO victory, but it's going to be a victory where Alex Pereira will show how much he has improved since the last fight, because I think people need to see how much he has evolved, not just the kickboxing aspect of it, but the other aspect of how a well-rounded fighter he is. He is carrying a lot of hype. He's carrying a lot of recognition behind him. He's carrying a lot of fame. I want him to prove it in a different way, not with a knockout. So probably I feel, again, a second round knockout, no. I think it's going to be a decision victory for Alex Pereira. A third round decision victory, unanimous decision victory, but it's going to be a banger of a fight. And also one person more which you need to look forward to is Chris Moutinho. I don't think if you'll remember Chris Moutinho, he had a fight against Sugar Sean O'Malley, and he showed that he has an insane chin. That guy got hit so many times, but he still stood there. He had a great heart. So it'll be interesting to see how he approaches this new fight, how much he has improved in his striking aspect of it. If he shows a lot of improvement, yes, people start talking about him once again. That wraps up my prediction for this UFC fight night in Apex. Yeah, Apex. I love the Apex arena because you can hear everything. You can hear the strikers grunt, growl, the punches hitting, the screeches, and literally it's as if like you are sitting right there in center of the stage. They have done a great job with the Apex and the way UFC has put up all these arenas and the way they think, the way they match make. I mean, I'm just so impressed. This year has been really, really great for somebody like me who's a huge fan of UFC. So it'll be really interesting to watch these fights and these people fight in the UFC Apex. So I'll catch you guys soon. I'll see you on Sunday. Bye.